welcome, and thank you so much for joining us for this great event organized by the Dawoodi Bora community of Collin County in honor of Women's History Month. My name is Sakina Ismail Bey. I'm a member of the Dawoodi Bora community, and I'm a proud mother, wife, and a realtor by profession. I'm here with Dr. Tasneem Dohadwala. Tasneem, if you can just raise your hand, wave. So Tasneem is a neonatal and pediatric anesthesiologist affiliated with 10 different hospitals, surgery centers, and neonatal ICUs all over the Metroplex. In the spirit of paying it forward, it is really a privilege to have such a diverse, inspirational, and motivating panel of women join us today. So we're really excited to have you all. I think we all have a bond, something in common, and we all have a story to tell and share with the world. So I would like to start by introducing our amazing panelists and let them say a few words about themselves. So I will.
I just want to also say good evening to everyone. I'm so excited to be here as well, and hope everyone is doing great. You know, we have an amazing lineup that Sakina is going to go over and kind of go through one by one who we have to talk to today. Also want to welcome all of you for being here and enjoying this interactive session with us. These women are true inspirations. They're elevating, they're supporting each other, they're encouraging all of us. So we hope to learn from them as well. Can't wait to hear from you guys.
All right, so our first panelist is Lisa Hermes. Lisa is the president and the CEO of the McKinney Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being with us today, Lisa. If you can just unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel very honored to be able to join all of you in my little Zoom box from my kitchen. Really pleased to be here with you today. So please forgive my background. My name's Lisa Hermes, as she mentioned, and I'm the president of the McKinney Chamber of Commerce. And I've been with the Chamber since 2014. And my background actually started off in journalism, and then I kind of made my way over into the business world and worked for a couple of different chambers, doing public policy and communications, and then later in my role here today. And so I'm looking forward to connecting with you and hopefully sharing some information from my point of view and also learning from the other stellar panelists today.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to it. We all have a unique background, so we have prepared some unique questions for each of our panelists. I'll move to our next guest, Kim Sanchez. Kim is the founder of the McKinney Little Free Pantry. We have partnered with her organization multiple times now, and we truly look forward to continuing that partnership in serving our local community. Kim, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, thanks. My name is Kim Sanchez. I've lived in McKinney since the late 90s. And I did start the McKinney Little Free Pantry. That is not my job. I'm a civil engineer. I do land development. I have a full-time job, I'm a full-time mom, full-time wife, full-time job. But on the side, when I can find time, I also do the McKinney Little Free Pantry. And we feed people in McKinney in need. We distribute about 20,000 pounds of food a month.
Amazing. That's really amazing. We look forward to hearing more about your story in a little bit, Kim. Thank you for being with us. Our next panelist is Rashida Rashid, and we respectfully call her Bhabi Saab. Bhabi Saab, you're the president of the Burhani Women's Association of Collin County. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everyone. It's such a pleasure to be surrounded by such amazing women. My name is Rashida Rashid. I'm the wife of the Amil Saab, or the president of the Collin County Dawoodi Bora community. I'm a wife, mother, and Kim, I feel you. I'm a mother of 4 daughters that are growing up super fast. My daughter's getting her driver's license soon. I'm a teacher by education. I mean, I say education because I have my master's in child development and I taught for a number of years as well. Currently, I'm a director of communications in a technology company that serves senior living, and I feel utterly and totally blessed to be heading the women's organization in the Dowdy-Bora community of Collin County. Thank you.
Thank you, Pakisab. We are blessed to have you. And lastly, we have with us Salima Madani. Salima is a member of the Ismaili community in Plano, and she's a registered nurse. Thank you so much for joining us today, Salima. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, President Saiba, Rashida, for having me for this evening. I am honored and humble and so blessed to join this panel of all inspirational women. And I want to congratulate all of you and want to celebrate all these women. My name is Salima Madani, like you just mentioned, born and raised in Pakistan, but Texas has been home for the last 28 years. By profession, I'm a registered nurse. I have worked in hospitals, nursing homes, depending how the situation at home is, but extended hospital stay hours were not really, possible. So those 12-hour working hours at hospital were not working. So I started working in school. I was subbing for school nurses. And then later I thought, I can join in community and some way or somehow I can live my passion through contributing to my community, my time and knowledge. So right here, I am here with you guys and want to celebrate myself and all of you.
We have such an amazing group of women here today. We are honored to have you here, all of you. Well, each one of you have a very unique story. You're all from different backgrounds, different successes, different accomplishments, and different contributions that each one of you are giving to the community. So we do have a question individualized for each one of you. We will start with Lisa Hermes. So you mentioned the president, CEO of the McKinney Chamber of Commerce. You're an extremely successful woman in business, many accomplishments, been an asset to the business community in McKinney and beyond. I did see that you were named top 40 under 40 by the Dallas Business Journal. So that's amazing. Congratulations. And you obviously started early to have these accomplishments at such a young age. So can you please go over what are some of the challenges for women going into business? And what are some challenges that women face in just starting their own business in general?
I think that's a great question. I think down to confidence is one barrier. I think that traditionally women have been the primary breadwinners in our families, and it's expected that they are going to start a business or go into a corporate world. While we've made a lot of strides as females in the workplace in the last couple of decades, there still is those traditional roles. So for women, they sometimes lack a little bit of confidence because they may not see a pathway to getting from where they want to be to where they should be. So, my advice to people in that situation is to build a network, to find a mentor, to really, find there's a lot of resources out there, whether it's the Small Business Development Center, there's SCORE counseling, there's chambers of commerce, there's ways that you can really access the resources that you need in order to start a business and go into business. And having that network, having a mentor is going to help you with that confidence and help you.
There's just a lot of background noise. Again, I'll just request everyone to please mute.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. So I that's why I believe that it's really important to have a mentor and have that network. We see a lot of times in business or public service, people are afraid to take that risk. And sometimes it just takes a tap on the shoulder from somebody else to encourage somebody. And that, I think, is really key and important and crucial. So I'd also say, not only should you hopefully gain the confidence yourself and find a mentor, but also be that person to somebody else as well. Tap your daughter on the shoulder, tap a friend on the shoulder and say, I know you can do this.
That's amazing. I love how you're kind of encouraging us to have that confidence, find it amongst women, maybe from an older generation or a colleague of your generation, and then just paying it forward to the younger generation. And I think that's something that we all aspire to do on a daily basis. So that's awesome. Do you have any other advice on just how to overcome challenges in starting new businesses in general?
So the other piece of advice I'd give, and I give this to all people, male or female, but really particularly women as well, it's to understand the business model. A lot of times I see business owners have a passion for doing something specific. So whether they're an attorney or they want to start a restaurant or a bakery, or they want to do retail, or they may have a passion and a gift for a certain talent. But to run a business, you've got to have a solid business plan. You need to be able to have access to capital in those startup years to be able to survive those first couple of years as you're getting your business going. So I think that's also very important, to do the legwork and to put the homework in. And again, I would say there's a lot of great services out there to help you with that. So it may seem a little bit overwhelming, but the Small Business Development Center, which is funded partially through the state of Texas and also through the SBA. And they are on the same campus as Collin College, one of their campuses in Plano. They offer free counseling and free resources of how to write a business plan. How do you go apply for a loan at the bank, and what is the bank going to look for when they're looking at your application? How do you differentiate yourself in the market? How do you write a marketing plan? So lots of resources are out there. It's just trying to navigate and find those. So I do encourage people, before you just jump off into starting a business, do the homework, do the legwork, have a solid business plan, because your passion for whatever you're doing is wonderful, but it's not going to get you through some of those tough hurdles that you might encounter as you first begin.
That makes absolute sense. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
That absolutely makes sense. Being a business owner myself, I know that preparation is definitely key to set a successful business. So thank you for your contribution. Definitely enjoyed all the advices. Now we'll address to the next panelist, Kim Sanchez. Kim, you have founded multiple charities, not your profession, but obviously something I know that is dear to your heart. So can you please tell us a little bit about your story, what inspired you to help others, and what advice you have for the amazing women we have in our audience?
Sure, thank you. I think that for me, when we were in downtown McKinney, I would go and tour a lot of the different philanthropies in McKinney, trying to figure out how me and my kids could get involved. I really wanted my children to be involved in philanthropy with me. And I found it very difficult to get them involved because a lot of the philanthropies had age limits as to when the children could be involved. And all for great reasons, but I was having a hard time struggling, finding where me and my kids could volunteer and do something in the community together, and I could teach them those life lessons about giving back. Then I also noticed, as I was doing all these tours and learning about philanthropies, that though we have so many great philanthropies in McKinney, and we really do, there were some gaps in the middle where people could fall through the cracks. And so I took that to heart, and I tried to figure out how to solve those problems, that the people who fall in the cracks in those little bitty places. And so one of the problems that I saw was in feeding in McKinney, we have lots of great options for feeding, but a lot of them either required some type of identification of who they were, or it required them to be present at a certain time and place. And if they couldn't be present in the time and place, or couldn't prove their citizenship or what have you, and then they weren't allowed to get services. So I tried to figure out a way that every human being, if they were hungry, that they could get basic needs, which would be toiletries and food, 24/7, no questions asked. The problem with that is when you start having a philanthropy that has a no questions asked anonymity to it, it means that it's more difficult for you to get funded by the government to get food. The government wants to know who you're serving and what their zip code is, and how many and just details. They want statistics. And because I don't have statistics because we're anonymous, it made that job a little more difficult. So that meant that my beg and my plead had to be a little bit stronger and better so that I could get food from people instead of through the government. McKinney is the most generous community. People here really do give back. It is amazing. I would invite everybody to come visit the Olive Branch. It'll blow you away. The Olive Branch is where our distribution facility is, and it'll just blow you away to be able to see the amount of food that the McKinney community donates to us on a regular basis. It'll take you back a little bit. It's wonderful. The Dowdy Boras community, in that group of people, y'all have donated to us a number of times, which has been wonderful. We have all kinds of ways to find out what our basic needs are in our storage unit. One of the ways is we have a website that you can go to, mckinney.lfp.org, and you can sign up for our weekly emails to find out what our weekly needs are. And if you are still kind of nervous about getting out and about, you can even put your donations on your doorstep and we'll even come and pick it up from your doorstep. You don't even have to come to us.
That's amazing. We definitely feel blessed as a community to play a role in helping and paying it forward in the local community. So thank you for our partnership, and we are very blessed to be a partner of the pantry.
You're welcome. We've been blessed to know and to be part of your community.
Absolutely.
Wow, Kim, just hearing you speak, I mean, you have an amazing passion to help others. And I mean, that passion is addicting, to be honest with you. I mean, there's just so many people in need, people that are less fortunate. And I totally agree with you that there's so much that all of us can do in small ways to do our part to help. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna move on to our Bhabhi Saab, Rashida Rashid. She's our president of the Women's Organization of Dowdy Bora Community in Collin County. I've worked alongside her amongst many different committees over the years. So I know firsthand that she is a great leader. And I'm not just saying that, I truly believe it. But as a woman in a leadership position, what is your source of inspiration? And what is your outlook in paying it forward as well?
Okay, well, thank you for the kind words. Okay, well, so let's start with paying it forward. Right? So truth be told, I feel really blessed. The position that I'm in right now, I didn't really choose to be in it. But the way I see it, sometimes in life, you find yourself in a certain place. And what you do with it, and I'm just hearing what you all have done with where you are, the possibilities are endless. Every day is a new challenge that I look forward to. And every day I constantly work to better myself, learn from others who may look at things a little bit differently, like from a different lens, and use that to increase my capacity to lead, to be a friend, to be a mentor. And in my personal life, it really helps my biggest support, because in this life of service, it's about what we can do for others. And as a woman leader, my message has always been that as women, we are the backbone. And when we come together, when we support each other, when we motivate each other, the possibilities are endless. We, and when I say we, I mean all of us, are change makers and have the power to change our lives, impact our lives, the lives of our families, and hence impact communities and societies. And I feel that is how you pay it forward. And so to address the second part of it, what is my inspiration? Well, definitely I'm inspired by all the stories that I hear. I would say my source of inspiration comes from the leader of the Dowdy Bora community, His Holiness, Dr. Sayyidina Mufaddal Saifuddin, who always guides us and encourages towards doing good for humanity. In essence, being a good person. And community-wise, in the Dowdy Bora community, we're constantly involved in initiatives to better the well-being of the planet and those that reside in it. And even at the community level, to kind of give an example of one of the initiatives is, so one of the initiatives of His Holiness is to ensure that no one should go to bed hungry, zero hunger. And to that end, the women in the community, and I mentioned the women because they are very actively involved. They make roti, or chapati, or Indian bread, as we may call it, and come together to make meals that are distributed to families. And this is, in essence, is women coming together for our greater good, and all in the spirit of helping others. And another thing too, we have this organization like within the Dowdy-Pura community, and it's called TNC. And in simple terms, it's matchmaking. Yes, that's true. But what it's really about, what the essence is, it's about paying it forward, becoming a mentor to a young adult, a friend, someone who cares. Because the truth is, everyone needs a role model. And I have a role model too. And my role model is, as she is known, Jortu Sharaf Musaiba, who is the wife of His Holiness. She really has been a beacon, having, because even you want to aspire to be like someone. And she's really amazing. She has a PhD in community development. She's initiated programs for the socioeconomic upliftment of women. She's created a university-linked hands-on training program called JEEG, and it's meant for women specifically in leadership roles, community leaders' wives, like me, historically roles that have been sort of overlooked. And instead of just learning on the job, the program she initiated gives women tools and hands-on learning and the knowledge to be successful, to be a good leader in this day and age. And so I believe that that's how it's paid forward, not just by saying something, but by doing it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, just to speak personally, knowing Bhabhi Saab, I mean, she is someone that ignites passion as a leader. She encourages, she delegates very, very nicely, and tasks or goals get accomplished in a beautiful way. So thank you, Bhabhi Saab, for your guidance every day.
Talking about role models, I can say that you, Bhabhi Saab, were one of mine since I met you. You are definitely a selfless leader and also a selfless friend. And we are very blessed to have you as a leader in our community. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. And it's great to be, I really feel blessed to be surrounded by such amazing women in the Dowdy-Pura community, in the greater McKinney community, and all over. And I think that's how when we support each other and motivate each other, I think we can go a long way.
Absolutely. Now, last but not least, we have Salima. Salima, you are a registered nurse, you are a volunteer, so someone involved in the STEM. How do you support your peers, and how do you handle work and life balance? How do you support others in the medical profession?
Oh, it's been so different being a nurse, working, like I mentioned. It was so hard for me when I came to United States. I mean, working and juggling with the family, kids, it wasn't easy. Back home, you go to work, there's people helping you and food is served and everything. Here, you are doing everything yourself. So that made me so independent and gave me pride that I was not relying on somebody to be doing something for me. I'm doing my work, my job, plus coming home with kids and family. But then later, having 3 kids, it was getting harder for me to work for those hours. So I started working in school nursing. And while working there, I had something very different feeling, not just to know what was going on. When you're working in school environment, you see all the youth, right? Their schools. I was working in all elementary, middle, high school, and senior high. So that way I get to know the youth, the child throughout their, lifetime, from their early childhood to their middle age, their high school. So I got to learn more about them, who they are, their needs, and underneath the, all the patient care, you get to see the human being, right? So nursing is when I graduated from Aga Khan School of Nursing. So I was privileged that the school had provided me with the highest quality of education. And the school has empowered me with the skills and knowledge and confidence that I needed to bring into my profession. So I want to give back to the students, to the community, in a way that I want them to never be shy of asking for help. Find a mentor. If you're passionate about something, start looking for your passion during your school time from your high school. Then start looking for the mentorship. We are so blessed right now in the United States that we have counselors. We have we need to reach out to people who can, guide us through. We have career counselors. So try to find your mentor, even in community. I have worked with Bhavisa, I have seen in our Bora community, they have empowered women with so many stuff. They do workshops. I've attended a few of the workshops. When I see that, I'm so impressed. Same thing we do in Aga Khan Foundation, that's in our community and in Smiley Muslim community. We have different women's groups, we have childcare groups, we have different health communities where people can find their mentors. So I just want to give the message, like I'm able to provide unconditional support to my team, because I remember when starting the nursing school, my faculty members, my teachers, my nurses, my medical friends, they all invested selflessly in me, and they wanted me to succeed. So healthcare profession is, there's no success if only one member is doing well. Healthcare is only able to save lives or help people and heal people when each one of the team members is supported and confident and heard. So as a woman in medical profession, I feel like amazing to share anything that I'm learning alongside my women's. And I would advise to never be selfish with your wisdom. Share what you know unconditionally, and also be excited to learn from others. This is how everyone around you will feel like they have something to offer and something to learn. This makes such a beautiful, dynamic team environment. And that makes medicine so incredible. And for the youth, I would say just remember those 3 P. I remember my teacher told me about those 3 Ps. Find a passion. Make sure you identify your passion so early that you're able to work hard on that. Work hard, like Lisa and Bhavisa and my other panelists told me, that you have to just work from ground up and be persistent. That's the second P. Be persistent, work hard, no matter what happens. Find somebody to guide you. And the third thing is patience. Once you have passion, you're persistent in your work, be patient. You will see the fruit of your hard work. So these are the 3 Ps I want our youth to remember when they are looking for their into education and trying to build that future. So these are the things that I would want my people to community to engage in.
The 3 Ps, definitely a great tip. Thank you, Salima. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And it's all about, like, I see a reoccurring theme here, all about mentoring and support. And that's exactly what this is about, paying it forward, right?
Salima, I mean, I know as a fellow medical professional, I know how exceptionally hard this past year has been for me in particular, just emotionally, psychologically, physically. It's been hard, especially even as a woman working in the hospital, being stressed out to be in the hospital on a day-to-day basis, and being stressed out to bring whatever I'm dealing with home to my family and kids. So I think, how you were mentioning about a support system, mentors, and I think just each one of us as medical professionals and as peers, colleagues, just supporting each other is what has gotten me particularly through these difficult times that I've experienced.
I was at, during this pandemic year, sometimes you feel you can't do anything, right? They're so restricted in volunteer service, right? We all want to be engaged and everything. It was so hard that you can't do anything. You can't go hospitals. You can't take anyone. So I decided, why not go and volunteer at the vaccination hub site? So I'm just coming up from there. If you see my t-shirt still say I serve Smiley community engaged in responsible service. So I was at the Texas Motorway Speedway giving back. But when you see these people, oh my God, you would not believe the way they were so relieved when they got the shots, and they were admiring these volunteers, praying for them. There was just amazing environment there at the vaccination site. I cannot imagine that, or share that feeling, but they were so humble and thankful for us there.
So much for all that you do. Next up, we have an interactive session with my friend, Tasneem Kagalwala. So she is a participating member of the Dowdy Bora community in Plano Jamaat. She's a proud homemaker. She's the first American board certified NLP master life coach and trainer in the state of Texas. She's written multiple publications. She particularly writes in 3 different publications: the Indo-Gulf Times, What Therapy Singapore, and She Magazine USA. She loves poetry. She's also published her collection of poems in a book titled Windows of Reflections. And she also hosts, is a co-host in a radio show called Radio Azad. And she talks about topics of personal development and self-improvement. She's an incredible person, and I'm really blessed to know her. She believes that you are everything you choose to be, and she really inspires all of us to do that. So thank you, Tasneem. Go ahead, the floor is yours. You are muted though. You may need to unmute.
Yeah, thank you for that really warm welcome and your very, very kind words. Those things are absolutely reciprocated. And thank you to all of you. I mean, all your inspiring stories. I think my job is done here. We don't need a session. We can all pack up and go home. But no, I'm really, really pleased to be here. And I welcome you to this part of the event where we continue to celebrate you. So I have just one request, that whatever it is that is going on in your mind right now, or whatever it is that is going on around you, I just want you to take all your thoughts, and for the next 30 minutes, I want you to put them aside. Because the next 30 minutes are for you. It's your time, and you deserve these next 30 minutes. And we can all get to whatever we need to do later, and our thoughts are all going to be sitting at the back of the head, so they all come back. But if you can just take one deep breath and focus here for the next 30 minutes, and I promise to over-deliver as best as I can. So if you can all just take one deep breath on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, and hold and release. All right, so welcome once again. And now, in order to celebrate ourselves, wouldn't you agree that a lot of so many people recommend taking care of yourself as one of the good ways to celebrate yourself. And if you go through your feed on social media on any given day, you will see loads of stuff on self-care. And those recommendations usually come in the form of lists of things that you can do to better take care of yourself. And that could be drawing yourself, or even sipping on green tea, putting on a refreshing face mask, writing a journal, taking yourself outside for a walk. And all of these are great, because I'm sure that most of us who would do these would really benefit and feel soothed and relaxed. But the reason I want to say this is that some of this requires a bit of energy, in the sense we need to create that peaceful space. We need to go inwards. We need to be in the moment and take a dive within and come out refreshed, and sometimes with better skin or better hair, thanks to that face mask. Now, the point I'm trying to make is the minute self-care there is even an iota of reluctance to doing something. So say writing a journal is not your thing, or going outside for a walk is not your thing, but you know it's good for you. I mean, there's enough proof on the internet. Your best friend says it's great. Write a journal, go out for a walk, it's good for you. But you're reluctant to do it. That's not self-care. That is self-growth. And as important as self-growth is, it has its time and place. It need not happen at the same time as self-care. Self-care needs to be things only that you really truly enjoy doing. So if you really truly enjoy taking yourself out for a walk and looking at the beautiful nature and writing a journal first thing in the morning, sitting outside, sipping your coffee or tea, then great, that's self-care. But if you're doing it because you know it's good for you, health requirements say that walking is great, then that is self-growth. And where that may have a time and space for it, let's not confuse the two between self-care and self-growth. Now, having said that, today then, I want to talk about 3 ways in which you can take care of yourself. And the first one that I want to talk about, which I've not seen too often in these lists that that social media often shares, is the way that we talk to ourselves, which is our self-talk. The way that we talk to ourselves has a direct impact on our mental health. So if you have positive self-talk, it's very likely that you're going to think, feel, and behave very positively. And if you have a negative self-talk, it's likely that we will experience mental health challenges such as anxiety, stress, and sometimes even depression. So the first thing that we need to do in order to take care of ourselves is to be mindful of what we are thinking. Just last week, I was spending some time with a friend and I heard her mumble under her breath, "I'm so stupid." And I said, "What did you say?" And she was like, "I said, I'm so stupid." And I'm like, "Why would you say that to yourself?" And she's like, "I don't even realize I say a lot of things to myself." And it's true, because sometimes we all do. We say things like, "Oh, I just can't do this." "Oh God, I'm so useless at this." "Oh, I just can't do this." But being watchful of your thoughts is the first step to changing that negative self-talk into positive self-talk. Because when you do that, what will happen? What will happen is you will have a more affirming inner narrative. Now, there are 2 ways to look at this. One is that, yes, you stopped yourself in the tracks. You took an inventory of your thoughts. You stopped them and you said, "Hey, no more negative thinking." But then what? You want to reframe, you want to replace, or you want to, use positive self-talk instead of that negative self-talk. Now, how do you do that? There are 2 steps to that. The first step is that you need to remember that the brain does not process negatives. So let me do this as an example. So if I had to say right now to everybody that do not think of chocolate. And I mean, right now, just please stop yourself, do not think of chocolate. Well, what did we all have to do? We all had to think of chocolate, and then we had to push that thought away and say, "Oh, okay, I don't need to think of chocolate because she said not to think of chocolate." So instead of telling yourself what you don't want, how about you tell yourself what you do want? So for example, if you're having a really stressful day and you wake up in the morning and you find yourself saying, "I just don't want to feel overwhelmed today." The brain does not process negatives. That's just the way we are wired, all of us across the board. So the don't gets negated. What remains is, "I want to feel overwhelmed today." So you're going to attract more of the same when you'll have to then work that much harder to push those thoughts away. So instead of that, why not tell yourself what you do want? Perhaps, what do you want? You want to take better care of yourself today, perhaps? Or perhaps, "I want to feel in control of my day today." So start telling yourself what you do want rather than what you don't want. And the second step is do that in the way that a loving parent or a best friend would talk to you. That voice in your head should be kind, should be gentle, encouraging. Be realistic with your expectations. Be accepting of yourself and more forgiving of the things that you can't get a hang of. And over time, as you keep having a more nurturing inner conversation with yourself, you will see huge shifts in your mental and emotional well-being. So how are we going to do this? Quickly, what I'm going to do is I have over here 2 sentences, and I want that you flip the switch on them. Make them empowering, positive self-talk instead of the way they have been told. Now, these I've heard from friends and clients alike many times when they're working with me on their homework balance. But let me see what we come up with. Now, if you want to share on the chat, you're more than welcome to. But if not, if you have a paper and pen handy, or if you have a phone that you'd like to work with and just write these down, I'd love for you to do that. So the first sentence that I have over here is, I honestly don't have time for myself. So I've had so many conversations with friends where they say, you know, Tas, I know this is important, but babe, I seriously don't have time for myself. I honestly don't have time for myself. So the sentence is, I honestly don't have time for myself. Remember, the brain does not process negatives. How would you flip the switch on this sentence and make it a more positive and a more empowering, positive self-talk? And once you're done, if just one of you can share or type your answer in the chat, I'd appreciate that. I always make time for myself. I honestly can spare time for myself. I love these. I will make time for myself. So excellent. So the second one is, there's no use. I'll never be able to continue with this. So the many times when I have forced my girlfriend for a massage, and she's like, yeah, I'll come with you this time, but I know I will never be able to continue with this. So what's the point? Even having a practice of taking care of myself. So the sentence is, there's no use. I'll never be able to continue with this. I will try harder and keep trying. How can I prioritize so I can make time for myself? Prioritization is key. I need to take care of myself. I will try to follow through. So a lot of these good ones coming through. And I'm just throwing in this comment here because this is another one that I'm sure all of you will relate with, where a lot of us say that I could be using this time more constructively or more productively. So many times when we are sitting and doing nothing and having a moment of me time, you're like thinking, God, I could have finished those emails in this time. There's a pile of laundry I could have done. There's kids' homework that needs attention. So how would you flip that? How would you say, instead of saying this is a waste of time for me, I could be using this time more constructively. What can you tell yourself? Which is positive and it's kind and gentle and encouraging. I'll make it work. I like that. I am investing time in myself. I love that as well. I need my time too. Yeah, right. So now all of these statements or affirmations or self-talk, whatever you want to call it, the more you use it on yourself, the more shift towards a positive opinion, a positive attitude towards taking care of yourself is sure to develop. Now moving on to the second part, the second way. Now the second way, I'm going to do it in the form of a story, and I'm sure hopefully by the end of the story, you'll know exactly what I mean. So story time. There was a team of archaeologists. Now these archaeologists had got a tip off from somebody in a village that they were hitting on, they were trying to dig and they think that there is something out there. So the best team of archaeologists were put together and off they went to the village and the search began. And they worked relentlessly. Oh my God, from morning to evening, 24/7, they took shifts and they dug and they searched and they dug and they searched. And lo and behold, after a week, they struck gold. And what did they find? They found a really rare painting of Leonardo da Vinci. And it was in pretty good condition. It really was not too damaged either. So there was like, oh my God, Leonardo da Vinci, really? And that too, one of his really rare finds. So they said, this needs to be auctioned. So let's go to the city and let's hold an auction. And that's exactly what they did. Off they went. They called the who's and who, all the art connoisseurs and all the ones who collect all of these collectible pieces. And everybody came and bid for that really rare painting of Leonardo da Vinci, which was in pretty good condition. So the question I'm asking you, and if you can reply to me in chat, how much do you think that really rare painting of Leonardo da Vinci sold for? How much was it worth, you think? Do we have a figure in the chat?
Is that a trick question?
Or you can even, quickly, in 15 to 20 seconds, unmute yourself and tell me 100 million. Okay, I have 100 million. My first bid, 100 million, 5 million. Okay, I'm going to take an average of all your suggestions. So I have 100 million, I have 5 million. Anyone else going for higher than 100 million? A really rare painting, somebody bought it. How much do you think it's worth? 750 million, 65 million, 10 million.
Do you think they know that's the painting of it's that rare?
Yes, I mean, that was announced in the auction that we really kind of researched. They found the rare painting. It was in pretty good condition, 6 million, 200 million. I'm going to go with the 100 because I feel that's, the average in between from all the comments that I'm getting in the chat. So 100 million. If a really rare painting of Leonardo da Vinci sold for 100 million, that was its worth. How much do you think, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what is your worth? Because you are truly one of a kind. You're not even rare. You are unique. There is nobody like you. Your hands, your feet, your heart, your soul, the skin that you live in, the way you walk, the way you talk, there's just one you walking on this planet. So indeed, don't you think that you are priceless? Absolutely priceless. So when you wake up in the morning, when you look at yourself in the mirror, do you really look at yourself like you're priceless? Do you walk like you're priceless? Do you talk like you're priceless? Do you feel like you're priceless? Because you are. You are worth finding, worth having, and worth loving. You and all the 1,000,001 layers inside of you. Because you are enough, you are unique, and you are truly worthy. So the second way to truly take care of yourself is by having a sense of self-worth. Because when you have a sense of self-worth, that's when you start valuing yourself enough to prioritize taking care of you. We struggle with that. We struggle with prioritization. We always put others first. But when you value yourself too, you will be able to prioritize yourself because you value yourself. And that brings me then to the third part. And the third way is, now that we've established that we are all unique and super special, don't you think we deserve to be loved? Of course, we deserve to be loved, not only by the ones who know us and who interact with us, but by the most important person in our lives. And that's who? You. You deserve to love you. And you may have all heard of the quote which says, love yourself first. There's so many variations to this quote. Fly, first love yourself before you can love somebody else. And I've had so many conversations with my friends and my mother alike, and she said, that's really not possible. As women, we wear so many hats, and giving comes very intrinsically to us. And especially one of the most rewarding and challenging roles we play is that of being a mom. And as a mom, sometimes it's just so darn difficult to put yourself first. You always would prioritize your child over you at any given day. So how about if we rephrase this statement as well, and we make it love yourself too. It's not love yourself first, it's love yourself too. Because hey, nobody can drive a car without fuel. You can't really pour from an empty cup. So what I have with you in conclusion over here of loving yourself, self-love, I have over here, it's a bit of a rapid fire. So I have here 10 fill in the blanks, and I'm going to go quick on them. And I don't want you to overthink it. I want you to just go with your gut and answer these. And these need not be shared on the chat. This is something that I want you to keep with you. It's between you and you. but I'm going to go quickly on these. So answer these as fast as you can. Are we ready? Let's go. So the 3 things I love best about myself are dash, dash, and dash. The 3 things I love best about myself
Good
are
cook.
dash, dash, and dash.
I'm a good cook, good mom.
Okay. Yeah, and you can write these as well as you go along. The next one, 3 parts of my body that deserve my love too are dash, dash, and dash. 3 parts of my body that deserve my love too are dash, dash, and dash. Three things I let go of are dash, dash, and dash. Three things I let go of are dash, dash, and dash. This week, I'm going to reward myself by dash. This week, I'm going to reward myself by dash. I deserve to feel good about myself because I do my best to dash. I deserve to feel good about myself because I do my best to dash. 2 ways I decide to take care of myself are dash and dash. 2 ways I decide to take care about myself are dash and dash. I choose to accept that I am dash. I choose to accept that I am dash. Each day I get stronger and better at dash. Each day I get stronger and better at dash. This week I am giving myself a break from thinking about dash. This week I'm giving myself a break from thinking about dash. And last, I am unique and worth celebrating. The first person I will say this to is dash. I am unique and worth celebrating. First person I will say this to is dash. All right. So these were 10 statements which you answered, and these can serve as reminders to you of what you promised yourself, how you're going to take care of yourself, things you're going to reward yourself with, things you're going to let go of, things you're going to stop thinking about, the way you're going to prioritize yourself. Let them serve as reminders. And if I can further add that at the end of the day, before you go to bed tonight, if you can take a few moments and reflect on which of these questions had you struggling a bit. Some answers must have come very easy to you, but some others you may have had to pause. You may have had to think about it. You may have struggled with them. You may have found it challenging to answer those. Those are the areas of your life that need more love and attention. Those are the areas of your life that need more of your TLC. So these 3 things, which are your self-talk, your self-worth, and your self-love, are the 3 most important ways in which you can take care of yourself, because we all may have flown an aircraft, and what do they say? In case of an emergency, when the oxygen masks drop, what do they say? Put your own mask before you help another, because if you are not okay, the chances that you're going to take care of somebody else are very, very slim. In fact, taking care of yourself is one of the ways in which you can be more productive at taking care of another person. So self-care is giving the world the best of you rather than what's left of you. And once you do that, I'm sure then you will be in a position to provide for your family, take care of your community, society, and the world at large, right? Because we all want to be the difference that makes a difference. So go on, be you, be priceless. And while you're at it, remember to take good care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naseem. Thank you for making us think about ourselves, reflect. I think that was incredibly helpful for all of us and made us think a little bit differently. And hopefully we'll be applying it for ourselves as well. I just want to thank all of our special guests that we had today, Lisa, Kim, Habisab, Salima, and Tasim. Thank you so much for being here with us today, joining us tonight. And thank you, all of you, for being here and listening to all of these amazing stories that they had and inspirational words. And hopefully we'll all be able to pay it forward as well. I'm sure you all gained insight as well as I did as well. And we had a great time together. We look forward to hosting some future sessions in the future to celebrate these amazing women and other amazing women in the future as well. If you have any questions for the panelists, there is their information at the bottom of the flyer, so you'll be able to contact them directly. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Sakina?
Thank you so much for joining us today. Tasim, your session was amazing. There were a lot of parts where I actually struggled writing things down. So I think it just hit me that I fake taking care of myself. So a lot of work to do on that part. Thank you for all our panelists. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us. Thank you, Kim, Salima. Thank you, Habisab, for your time. Thank you for all of the amazing ladies. I hope you found this event helpful and that we brought you some values, and hopefully we'll carry on the self-care and the paying it forward. If you have any questions, you have our information on the bottom of the flyer. And we look forward to having you on our next event.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you, Fizan.
Thank you for joining us.